Welcome to 30 and Nerdy. My name is David.
And I'm AJ.
I'm the dude.
I'm Brady.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
And this week we are talking about one of our favorite game franchises of all time, Bioshock.
I think this is something that we can all agree on that we
Easily.
love. Yep.
I've pooped on certain games in the series before, but I love them all. They're
and
all great.
I've pooped in a certain series.
One of them.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
And so that would take us to the world of Bioshock 1, where you start as nameless protagonist with a
His name is Jack.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Because you find, I can't remember where you see his name, but it's somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Well,
it's in the book, isn't it? When he's on the plane or he's reading some
I can't remember.
paper.
Yeah, I think...
I know, but he's got the chain tattoo on his wrist.
Yeah.
The 3 chains.
I always wanted to get those tattoos.
So he's called him 3 Chains.
Ow!
3 Dog.
Ow! Bioshock 1. It's the most recent Bioshock I've played.
Same.
I haven't played any of them in a long time.
My wife got me the anthology for Christmas 2 years ago. Or no, it was for my birthday. And I was playing it hardcore, and then other games got in the way, and I haven't had a chance to revisit it. Maybe I should do that instead of mindlessly playing Destiny 2 for hours on it.
I will say, doing some preparation for this and just looking at some of the artistic direction that they decided to take, can't say that I'm a huge fan of Ayn Rand, but they relied heavily upon her works to influence.
He's Andrew Ryan.
Yeah, Ayn Rand is like a
she,
whatever.
I know.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you take apart his name, it'll
anagram.
it's an anagram for
Cool.
Ayn Rand.
I never noticed that.
And it, like
I hate her work, like the Fountainhead.
Atlas Shrugged.
Because what is
Atlas Shrugged?
Atlas Shrugged is the one.
Well, no. I mean, because there's a phrase in there like, who is...
John Galt.
John Galt, that's right. But instead of John Galt, they have who is Atlas. And so, I mean, I enjoy those kind of tie-ins and the ideas that they show us. I don't care for Ayn Rand is what I was really going for.
Well, I mean, they do that on purpose because they're trying to show that Ayn Rand is not something you want to get into. It's a very negative thing. At least I agree with that 100%.
And I think that what they also show is because Ayn Rand is here, and then they kind of go even further than I think.
Oh yeah,
way further.
Well, I mean, what she quote unquote would have done. I don't know. I think that she would have been okay with what happened in Rapture because she's a crazy person. But
yeah, like they totally took the whole idea of do everything for yourself and fuck everyone else.
Yeah, because it's hyper self-centered. It's what's the capitalism?
No gods,
term?
no masters.
I can't think of what the capitalist term, but free market. Anything goes. The market will control itself. So that's why you didn't. Because I think in some of the audio logs you hear about people wanting to clamp down and control the plasmids and stuff like that. And he talks about that it should have free reign, that the cream of the crop will rise to the top. And I enjoy a game that is so well done, but also shares some of these hard-hitting and deep philosophical ideals.
So that's the thing about that game is that, I mean, it's a jump-off point from the System Shock games where they took the ideologies of the gameplay from System Shock and built their own story with it. So, I mean, on, just like the face value of it, you're in a place called Rapture underneath the sea, and you're fighting crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. If you don't want to pay attention to the ideology behind that, you don't have to.
Yeah, and it still is a great game.
If you dig deeper into it, you realize that it does have a pretty strong message about hardcore capitalism and the negative effects it can have on a society.
And also, I mean, it also has the ideas of free will and choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Would you kindly?
And that, I do have to say, when that first happened, that was the biggest, like, floor-dropping experience that any game has done
Yeah.
or has ever
Yeah.
done since then. Because I was like, holy crap, I didn't even notice it. It just was,
It was just
It's
something
the
that we
first
did.
line of dialogue.
yeah,
spoken
would you
in the
kindly,
game.
would you kindly, would you kindly, and I
Yeah,
did
he's
not.
like,
Would
would
you
you kindly turn that knob or push that knob?
Yeah.
And the funny thing that the guy who voiced that, they tested it with a Southern accent, and everybody hated it.
Would you kindly?
And then they did it with an Irish accent, and everybody's like, "Oh, we
Would
love
you
it."
kindly?
I can understand that. I hate Southern.
I
Twang.
I hate listening to Southerners.
Oh, shug.
I'm sorry. I'm so.
I mean, if I-
like we're Midwesterners. Like I'm so used to the lack of
Any
Of,
kind
uh,
of.
yeah. At least to us, it sounds like we don't have any
I know we do, but
sort of.
it's not like it's not
accent.
very pronounced or.
I do know that most newscasters go for people from the Midwest because we were able to just keep like an even keel type of voice. Where
We say our A is a lot stronger.
do we?
And I will say,
I don't know.
I would think
I'll
so.
I'll reverse my statement. I don't hate Southern twang, but if I had the
You don't
choice
prefer
between listening to either a Southern person or an Irish person, I would choose the listening to an Irish person speak. I don't know why, but I mean they also had several different art ideas. Like the Little Sisters were originally supposed to be sea slugs. They had also dogs in like little wheelchairs. But I mean, and just like the splicers were once more or less human, but they wanted to add that kind of human function to it and that kind of.
I'm so glad they didn't go for like these big, weird, crazy monsters.
yeah, same here.
These all used to be good intentioned
People,
people
Yes.
who just tried to live the life that they thought was right.
and then they went crazy.
And
with
Atom and plasmids.
atom plasmids and plastic surgery.
Yep.
And I mean,
Oh,
and they also
God.
use like plastic surgery photos from like the 1900s, early 1900s,
Yeah.
to kind of use as skin models for the splicers and all whatever
brutal.
kind of. That game had so many good little nuggets in it. Like I can't remember. I think it was the Doctor, but is where like everything is white and everybody's like plastered. I mean,
Oh yes.
but like they're actually in like plaster Paris, and you'd go up to the statues, and I would hit them, and they bleed, but they wouldn't break. So I mean, you know that there's real people in there who are
And
now
then
dead. But
some
it just,
of them would come alive.
oh,
and
did they?
attack.
I can't remember.
think
That's
so.
right.
That
Yeah.
game had a really good amount of fear in it.
Yeah, it was
Like,
it was a perfect amount.
it was a really healthy balance of action, story, and then fear elements. So
yeah.
I mean, this is the game you want to play if you're looking for just like your all around great.
It literally has every beat you could want.
And I would say this is the master, or the jack of all trades, and the master of all. Because I mean, it's not. It doesn't do. I'm sure that there are some things that it doesn't do, but I also look at my games through rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I love it, it doesn't really. I could probably pick it apart and find things I didn't really care for, but I always just see the good in it, and I don't.
There are definitely issues with it. The fact that you can only access the plasmid bank in the very beginning of levels, and that's it.
Yeah, not
and if you
swap
don't
it around.
if you don't swap them out correctly, you can end up really gimping yourself for later fights. And then there was something else about it. I can't. The photo mode is really weird. It just like I like the idea of like you take a picture of
A
creatures.
splicer, and you get some of their.
Yeah, it would give you like hints of like weaknesses and.
It would
some
say,
things.
but it would just increase your damage output towards those enemies. I mean, like it's a great idea, but
They should have fleshed it out more.
yeah, it was really shallow. It felt tacked on.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond that, that's about it when it comes to my gripes with that game.
And I did like that there were certain things going on with like free will and or the lack thereof, because you see all throughout it when with the would you kindly that I mean you're not really acting as your own.
You still do make your own decisions.
You
though.
do, but do you? Because the whole entire thing is that you're like Andrew Ryan says, you make your choices and your choices make you. So do you really like you make your choices, but then your choices make you? So it's a circular reasoning that do you really make your choices, or do the choices make you that make your choices? So is there actual real free will, or are you just some mindless machine that's acting on biological imperatives and feeds?
Let me tell you something about the real world. Your brain knows what it's going to decide 10 to 15 seconds before you decide it. So if you really want to get to a talk about free will, there's a really deeply complex issue with that. I would have to say the only reason why I said that you're able to make choices in this game is because you are asked to kill the little sisters. I always save them. I want that teddy bear.
Well, even Atlas says, like, you can kill him for more Adam, and then when you don't, he's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, that is one choice where you have two paths, but there are several times where you don't have any choice in the matter, like when you kill Andrew Ryan.
Yeah.
You're at
that's just because, Atlas is using you as his evil tool.
Yeah, you're pretty much his instrument.
Well, but you also see it in further games, like Bioshock Infinite, where you're wanting to kill Comstock in his cradle, or you want to not give Elizabeth up, but you can't not do that. And so the way they kind of get around it is that since there are an infinite number of universes, that at one point you didn't give up Elizabeth, but
this is
this is the one that you do, and there is no other choice besides that you have to give her up.
Yeah,
you can't. It's just a loop where you're.
I mean,
stuck
but then
in
you're talking about multiverse theories.
Yeah, but I'm saying that what they're saying is they're trying to put forth either the idea, and I think it's.
I completely understand what they're trying to put forth. I guess I'm playing devil's advocate on it, where it's.
And I enjoy the idea of them saying that you don't have a choice in this, that there isn't any free will.
Because the only choice that's yours is to stop playing.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
But it doesn't really end, because then you're still stuck there, technically. I mean, you can go about your daily life and not play the game, but
yeah,
you're still stuck having to make that choice.
It's always waiting.
Always. That save file is always waiting.
Now, here's one question, because since I haven't played it for so long, was it Atlas who said, would you... Because I know he says, would you kindly go up there and kill Andrew Ryan? But then Andrew Ryan is talking to you, and he knows that you're like a sleeper agent or whatever for someone. He doesn't... I don't know if he knows exactly who. But when he's talking to you and he gives you the golf club, doesn't he basically make you kill him? Because I'm trying to remember.
Oh.
Because otherwise, why would he have given you the golf club?
It's been a while since I've actually gotten that far in the game, so I don't really remember.
I want to say Atlas said, would you kindly go up and kill him? And then Ryan went through and did the whole thing, like the would you kindly, telling him what it was about, but you were still brainwashed to kill him still from Atlas saying it, so I think that's why you still end up killing him.
So then, if you were always supposed to be a part of it, who brought down the plane?
Don't know.
Very beginning of the game, dude. Like, you're just a guy on a plane.
Well, I'm sure Ryan could have orchestrated it somehow.
I mean, but...
Or Atlas.
So somebody got to you in the outside world, brainwashed you.
Well, they've been grooming you in Rapture, I think, and then they kicked you out or something like that. I want to say.
I don't know. I guess it's been so long since I've played like near the ending of that game where you get the major part of all that I can't remember what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at it here, since we haven't played this for so long, there is a note that you get a package from Atlas. In the package, there's a note that says, would you kindly hijack the plane and crash? Insert coordinates here. The package contains a gun, so you hijack the plane and make it crash.
Whoa.
Dude, I didn't even know that.
I don't remember that at all.
Wow.
And that's backed up by at least two people who said the same thing.
So then who was Dog?
What?
From a creepypasta.
Oh.
But I will say that opening sequence, I love the Lighthouse. I love that Yeah, it's a Lighthouse.
Yep.
And it's in Bioshock 1 and Infinite. I don't think it's in number 2. Because I think you just start in Rapture.
Yeah,
You do start in Rapture, but you do surface at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do like that there's continuity between at least 1 and 3 there. And I really love that Lighthouse. It's an amazing
beautiful.
opening to the game. And I am trying to be more transparent on this episode because I listened to the Max Payne episode and I didn't like how vague I was. So I'm wanting to be more detail oriented about this game because
we were so busy trying not to spoil the adventure. But I would have to say that these games have been out long enough that if you were going to play them, you've played them, and if you're not,
then you should.
If you hear somebody talk about them, it might push you into actually playing these games.
Yeah.
But just everything about that first game is just, I knew that they had found a gem. There was a wonderful...
It's such a rich, mysterious world that you want to know more about.
Not to mention, like, I remember the effects. I'm playing it on Xbox 360.
Yep.
And, like, the water running over, like, if you, like, have water...
Yeah.
Like, splash on you, then your whole screen will ripple.
Even more so in 2 when you're wearing the Big Daddy suit. You can hear it pinging off your helmet.
Yeah.
Little,
well, you do get to wear that Big Daddy suit for a little bit in Bioshock 1 as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's just...
The music also pushes this game over the edge of awesome.
I love...
It's the same with Fallout. I mean, it just completes the immersion, and, like, I'm in the 60s, but also 40s at the same time.
I love those 40s sounds.
It's so good.
But yeah,
I just love, like, when you go, like, you finish a fight and you're looking for ammo packs and loot, and you just look out and you can see, like, another building. Like, I wonder what's over there.
Yeah. I actually watched something. There's a channel on YouTube that does something called Boundary Break, where they load up games and then they pull the cameras out and then they show, like, what things look like outside of the maps.
Yeah.
And like, during the intro, the shark that comes by drifts past you and then it just, like, runs into a building, but you don't ever get to see that. So every time I think about all of that kind of stuff, I always think about the Boundary Break channel and the stuff that I've watched them do about Bioshock and stuff. So, I mean, but it was so spectacular to see that level of detail at that time of gaming.
Yeah.
I think that the highest detail that we had at that point was...
And it's still, even the non-touched up version still looks good.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, like, it's slightly cartoony, but I think that actually helps.
Yeah, because it's nothing that you can compare, like, oh, they're going for hyper-realism.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I think it benefits that game
stylized
100%.
to a point where it's nice and...
But you're always going to have your crazy fights. You're going to have your Big Daddy fights where you're planning them out. You're planning what plasmids you're going to use. You're planning how you're going to attack on their path.
Yeah.
Or the Rosie fights, which are just brutally insane.
Yep.
So...
And I do say, I don't remember what hacking was like in number 2, but number 1 was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, the tubes.
Yep.
So much fun.
What was number 2's? I think you had to go like a trail of electricity.
I can't remember.
I can't either. I've only played
honest.
2 once, my first time, and I haven't played it since.
Because you just don't want to ruin that purity?
No, it's just like, it's been over almost maybe a decade. Well, whenever it came out.
Yeah.
And I just haven't gotten around to it.
Didn't you buy the collection?
Yeah. I'm trying to go in order, but I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, I'd really like to play Infinite again. Just to have that.
Infinite was...
Ascension. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a hot minute.
Yeah.
I will say that the least fun I had in that game was the Atlas fight. Just because it was tedious, not because it was hard. And it just wasn't that much fun.
It was the most video gamey thing about the game.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, and it was nice when you saved all the little sisters and they would come and help you.
Yeah.
But if you screwed it up, it just took so long to get him back down.
And that's why I never played a game where I ever killed a little sister. I've never done it.
Nope.
Number 1 never did it. Number 2 never did it. Mainly because I just didn't fucking want to.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do it.
They're
I think
little girls.
Little girls.
I think I harvested one, and then I felt so horrible I just could never do it again.
I
Then I had
know
to reload
in-
my save.
I have seen it happen. I think I looked it up on YouTube. Like,
Yeah, it's-
what's it like? And I'm like, that's just too brutal, man.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. I want her to be
And,
like, thank you.
You watch them like scurry into the
Little hole.
tube and like slip. It's like, oh, there you go. Go on in this disgusting world you have to live in.
But number 1, I think, was... Well, we'll say which one was the best one for each of us at the end. But number 1 was a very special gem.
Yeah, it was most definitely not something I was expecting when
Yeah.
when David brought it over. It's like, hey, check out this game that came out. It's called Bioshock. I don't know, we should play it. All right, I guess, and we pop it in, and like I knew I was getting freaked out when I was playing. I was like, this is kind of spooky game.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there's spoops, but it's wonderful.
Like the who's the character who's like kidnaps women and like does plastic surgery on them and
The very first like quote unquote
Yeah.
boss guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
she's ruined and just and he's got the bodies all splayed up. That part I'm like, oh,
His
no.
hashtag aesthetics.
Yeah, it was great. That game is so fun.
Let's move on to Bioshock 2. That one, I'll start out and just say,
Game of the decade.
I thought that it suffers from games like Wolfenstein or other ones where they try to stick multiplayer in there, and then they're stuck juggling 2 different things instead of going all for like a Battlefront where it's all multiplayer and that's what it is and this is what you're getting. And
So you're saying that the fact that there was multiplayer hampered the single player experience?
I believe so, yes.
I would have to say that their team wasn't big enough, so the single player may have gotten.
I would say the opposite, that they were focusing on the single player and the multiplayer was left behind, because that multiplayer sucked.
Oh, it was pretty awful.
Hard.
Well, that's what I'm
remember
saying,
playing
because
it.
when you try and split yourself,
They
it-
should have
it-
just focused on.
because there are
one
certain games
thing.
where
Yeah.
it'll naturally flesh out, and that multiplayer is a perfectly a great way of transitioning from single player to multiplayer. But this one, I feel that the multiplayer was just subpar. It was like, well, we're just going to toss it because this is what everybody's doing, so we need
Yeah.
to have multiplayer in our game.
And that is completely 100% the truth.
And so I'd rather
people
than-
are like, well, they're not going to buy our game for a single player experience only, so we have to have this.
And I mean, that was during a time of console gaming where that was the idea. That was the norm, where
Yeah.
every game had to have multiplayer. There weren't games coming out that were single player only, and people like me were upset because I mainly play for a single player experience.
Yeah.
There's very few games that I want to play online. And then if I do end up playing online, I want like an MMO style. I don't want to just sit in a lobby all day and
Yeah.
kill people,
But I will respectfully disagree that the story was hurting anyway, because I thought it was incredible.
And it could be just that the story didn't really grip me for number 2 like it did
Yeah.
for number 1.
I think I had really, really high expectations was my issue, because I did come in from playing one.
Yeah.
You hadn't played one before.
2 was my first.
So since number 2 was your first, you got the infusion of this rich
Yep.
world and the backstory and everything else, handed to you. Whereas, like, me and David, where we had the whole thing played up through 1, and then we went into 2, and it's just like
Yeah.
felt
More of the
kind of
same.
empty.
You were
How-
expecting this big grand thing, and what you got kind of.
It wasn't that it dropped off. It just that it plateaued with number 1, and it just stayed there for number 2. It didn't really,
Yeah.
it didn't really give
blow
me
your
a lot
mind
more.
again.
Yeah, it didn't give you more, but they didn't take anything away. But I mean, I wanted more, is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But I had more going on in life at that moment, like where I felt like I wasn't in control of everything, and I'm playing this game like I gotta go find Eleanor. This is my most important thing I have to do right now because this is a thing that I can fix. The outside shit I can't, but I can help save Rapture.
Bioshock 2 for you has like more than just like the game. It's also a personal thing.
Yeah, it was.
So okay,
it was catharsis. Same with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
I think then I can kind of understand your viewpoint on it, and I'm always sitting here shitting all over you. But
because like when that end happened, the good ending, I'm like, I did it. I'm like Frodo, take me to the island. My job is done.
Say goodbye to Sam.
Yep.
Have
I
fun
can't
with Rosie.
carry the ring, but I can carry you. Gay.
All I can.
No homo.
I love the Lord of the Rings, and I listened to those books when I was a kid over and over and over ad nauseum. But now all I can think of when I see that is I can't remember which commercial or which cartoon it was, but I'm assuming it's something like Family Guy or where Frodo like puts the ring on, but not on his finger. And then Gollum tries to get it, and then he's like, "Okay, you can have the ring." And then Gollum like gives him the ring back, and then so that's all I can see.
That sounds like something Family Guy.
That's
would do.
definitely a Family Guy.
Yeah. I get to see Seth Rogen. You'll be funny. Frodo wore it on his dick.
And Gollum takes it off with his mouth.
That's great. That's prime television right there.
Yep.
You have to pay for something like that.
You do.
And see, they could get away with it because Frodo was invisible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Invisible people can get blowjobs.
Yes. An invisible dick can't offend anybody.
An invisible dick.
Well, let's not go too far here, Brady.
You're right. I can just think of it. I'm thinking of a penis. Ugh.
Brady's
I hate it.
so grossed out by wieners.
I hate a gentleman's member.
Bioshock 2. Little sisters and big sisters. You're playing as a big daddy in this one.
Delta.
Big Daddy.
Johnny Topside. I read where he came from. He was just a deep sea diver.
Yeah, and he just kind of found Rapture.
Got too close.
So, is Bioshock 2 a prequel?
No, it's 10 years after Bioshock. I think it's
Because
it's
I
10
thought
years
you were
after.
playing as like the original Big Daddy.
Yeah, because the main chick is in control of Rapture now. What's her name?
The Doctor.
Yeah.
So I think it takes place 10 years after because I think that they had tried to make the aesthetics and the sounds that Rapture was kind of slowly falling apart more. So, I mean, you heard more like creaks and groans and stuff like that in number 2 than
There were
you
a
did
lot
in number
more
1. Leaks.
It
So
was really,
this is not a prequel, so you're not the original Big Daddy.
What?
But you're...
Delta, you're...
D.
I'm going to look it up just so that we don't all look like we're
idiots.
doofuses, not knowing what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It is set in the future because Rapture is slowly falling apart.
But you play as Delta, Johnny Topside, and I don't remember how you get to the point where you need to find that little sister, Eleanor.
I do remember the place being pretty wrecked, though. So it has to take place in the future. The little sisters have become big sisters.
Yep. They're terrifying.
They are very, very difficult to fight. Like, insanely difficult. I remember, like, just that first part, like, right in the beginning of the game, and it's just, Jesus Christ. Whew.
Can't remember. Is there only one little one big sister, or is there
That you're
multiple?
fighting against? I think it's only one.
And she's continuously just hunting.
Yeah,
you?
it's pretty much like she just hunts you throughout the entire game. I do believe it is only the one. I suffer the issue of not really remembering much about this game. I remember it looked really decrepit. I remember being inside of a bulky suit the entire time and just...
Oh, yeah. Like when you landed and just...
Yeah.
I love the fact that you could have a plasmid and a weapon out.
Yeah. I mean,
That was
it
nice.
was pretty immersive. It was... I remember it being a really immersive game, but a lot of the story just escapes me. I don't remember much of
Yeah.
it. I think it's just because of that sameness that we were talking about with Bioshock 1. or Bioshock 1 leading into Bioshock 2 where nothing really stuck out to me. I do remember beating the game and saving all the little girls and bringing them topside.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know there is a positive ending there, but I, for the life of me, can't remember.
Yeah.
I could have sworn what happened was you were a normal person living in Rapture, and then you were trying to protect your daughter or some shit, and then, or some little girl. It wasn't your daughter, but it was someone's daughter, and she got taken away to become one of the little sisters, and you got taken away and turned into a big daddy.
Yeah, and you're trying to find her now.
Yep.
Eleanor.
Yep. That's it. And that's pretty much the basic premise of the game. Much like Bioshock 1, it had its fair share of collectibles, so you would go around, you would pick up the tapes, listen in on more backstory. It kind of fills you into that 8-year period between 1 and 2, let you know what happens like after Atlas dies and everything else, and pretty much how Rapture is still going on.
Power changing hands and
yeah, I don't understand how there are any sane people left, because I thought everybody turned crazy.
Yeah,
like with the whole splicer shit. I didn't think that there were very many sane people except for the few people that you do interact with. Makes me wonder if there's like a whole section of Rapture we never got to see, because
like they quarantine themselves away from everybody.
Yeah. And
That
we
would
were
be
just
cool.
fighting for the decrepit side.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, the Burial at Sea DLC, did that have any more story about Rapture, or was it just about Booker and what's her face?
So you get to see prequels. So
Oh, is it? Okay.
so it's
I forgot. Yeah, you can walk around.
and it's really cool because you get to like see the
Rapture in its heyday.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Like that bright neon everywhere.
Yep.
Just looks absolutely like you would expect like a 1940s
Deco.
Art Deco underwater living place to be like, and
Heaven.
it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
I'd live
Everybody's smoking cigarettes.
Oh, I love cigarettes.
Well, no, I mean it's just part of that
I
aesthetic.
do. I love cigarettes.
I do
just
too.
can't
I
smoke
miss them.
because they're
I miss
bad.
them a
They
lot.
kill you.
So I finally had my first Chantix infused like vivid dream.
Uh-huh.
I had my music playing on Spotify because I like to fall asleep to it because I know it so well because I wrote it.
Uh-huh.
So it's something that I can completely like just put on and just like sync to.
Mm-hmm.
And the piano song, my Lenoir song, that was playing, but in my head it was the end of this big gangster movie. And it was like after he'd killed all the people and he was just walking away, and it's just that really somber piano music.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting on the couch and KJ was sitting next to me. I was like, those motherfuckers stole my music, didn't pay me any fucking royalties. What the fuck? And I remember getting really fucking angry. And I have no clue why I'm bringing this up, but it's a thing that
Cigarettes
happened.
and
Oh,
Rapture.
that's right. So if you're going to go for quitting cigarettes, which I highly recommend, Chantix can be fun. I have not experienced any of the super negative side effects of it yet.
Like suicide.
I would say the sleepwalking,
Oh,
the nightmares, because instead of vivid dreams, it can give you super vivid nightmares and night terrors.
So that sounds like fun for Brady.
Yeah, I mean, he already
I already
has.
get that enough.
Yeah, he got that sleep. I almost said
Paralysis.
apnea. I have sleep apnea. But anyway, so everybody down there smoking cigarettes and everything else. I don't remember much of it, and I think it's because I didn't play it all the way through.
Yeah.
I got too pissed off that 2K or whoever the Bioshock development team was decided that they were never going to create Bioshocks anymore. This is it, and they're closing down as a game company. and I was just completely pissed off. And I think it was because 2K shut them down.
Wasn't it Irrational Games?
Irrational Games. And I believe 2K shut them down, and I was just so fed up with it that I was just like, I can't even play Burial at Sea.
Yeah.
So I just let that last little bit there that happened be my finality, where the chick comes up to you and she's smoking a cigarette and everything's beautiful. And so that's like how I forever remember Rapture, is this beautiful Art Deco underwater palace.
I need to play Bioshock 2 again.
I definitely do, now that we're sitting here talking about it. Mainly because I always thought it was the weakest one of the trilogy. I really didn't focus too much on it. And now I'm kind of upset that I don't remember much of it except for you have to save Eleanor.
Yeah.
That's it. David?
I'm about the same.
Yeah.
It just didn't strike a chord with me enough to want to play it.
I do remember playing a shit ton of online multiplayer, and what a shit show that was.
I tried like once, but I remember the lobby you sit in, like that house.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's why I played it. It was because you would get collectibles and tapes and everything else, and it would further give you more story.
It was
shit.
like a tiny little cozy den.
Yeah,
just like,
it was really wonderful. And then great. Like everybody like drove their pod to the fight place.
Yeah.
And come back when you get some money, buddy.
Maybe Bioshock 2 will be 30 nerdy. Let's play on YouTube someday.
I have it on PC.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
And with that,
customer.
What'd you say?
Another satisfied customer.
Twain facts.
What kind of Twain fact would you like? Would you like a premium Twain fact, a normal Twain fact, or a really cheap Twain fact?
Bioshock Infinite.
Let's roll.
Let's roll on.
See, in my head, every time we announce a game, you're playing some of the music from that game.
So Bioshock 1 or Bioshock Infinite, I think, is the best one. I think it's the most beautiful, has the best graphics, and not even graphically. I think just the setting in itself just is complete antithesis to Bioshock 1, where it's kind of under the sea, dark, dingy. And this one is bright and sunny, and
I do have a soft spot for that, like 1910s America. I don't know. I mean, not the racist shitty part, but like the
So you said that
vaudeville.
in the automatically the only thing the first thing that came to me is when you're at the beginning and it's that black and white couple and you're supposed to like throw the fruit and it's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Not that
or
section.
the KKK Crow members.
Yeah.
That carry the coffins on their back, I believe. Coffin backs? Is that what they're called? I can't remember.
Don't know.
Anyway, the game is completely aesthetically pleasing. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They really took out all the stops. So we go from under the sea to above the clouds. Mm-hmm. And, man, it's amazing.
I was just thinking, though, the other day, just watching videos on Bioshock Infinite. I mean, it had to be. Was it that they stayed stationary somewhere, or did they just kind of float around?
I believe they were constantly moving.
They could move it wherever they wanted, so they could probably like station it like.
Because I have to think that it's not going to all be like, oh, it's so nice and wonderful. I mean, they're high stinking up in the clouds.
Not only
so it's going to be cold.
I was going to say it's going to be cold,
windy. I mean, if they get into like
super
a jet
windy.
stream.
Oh, geez, yeah, you're fucked. Say goodbye.
So I just
I
have to think that all these little kids running around and one kid just going to fly off into Never Land.
I think that's why everybody got a skyhook.
Yeah, just in case.
Johnny, don't leave home without your skyhook. Oh, God, Mom, I guess. God.
I know that, I mean, you're taking yourself out of the fictional world of the game where everything is just all hunky-dory and this is the utopia that they're trying to paint.
I mean, because honestly...
This was the great, beautiful America where the sky is always blue. people are always white and the apple pie is always hot. All right,
And if
that's
you look down,
Comstocks, America,
you're always over like the great heartland of America.
Kansas.
Yep. You're pretty much looking over Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. It's just farming fields forever. FFF.
That thought of that old timey is so comfy. Back before your Twitters and your
Facebooks and your internet.
your medicine that makes you not die.
I will say that this game did kind of
Efficient transportation.
This game did it kind of evoked some semblance because you had those racist tones to it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
Okay.
in me when I'm playing it, it's like when I watch The Office, and you would have those kind of really cringy moments that even when you're sitting alone, it's like, man, this is really makes me uncomfortable.
Like anytime Michael Scott opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Scott's Tots.
Yeah, like I cannot watch that episode.
Oh,
That's one of the
Which one
episodes
is Scott's Tots?
when he said to this one class that he would pay for them to go to college if they graduated or graduate with a certain thing. I cannot watch that episode
it's
because
so
like
hard.
because you know what's coming at the end that he doesn't have the money that they're not going to get their college paid for because he made some stupid promise that he never thought he'd have to keep.
I completely forgot about that episode, and now I remember why I forgot about it. I pushed that out of my memory.
So I mean, it's like that to where when you're going through the kind of back parts of what's the not Rapture, but
I forget what the place is called. We're going to call it Sky Fortress.
well, I think we've even said the stupid name anyway. So I get those kind of cringy feelings when you're walking through the back parts of. My goodness, why can I not remember? Columbia. There we go. Thank you. So when you're walking through the back parts of Columbia, and then you have interactions with the black people who are the servants. And I mean, it gives me that kind of cringy moments where I don't even want to have that interaction. I don't want to hear their dialogue just because it makes me so uncomfortable, even though I could be playing it by myself and it doesn't matter. But it is great in the essence of having those moments and kind of getting those little captures. And I know that the game would probably not be able to be made today because it has so much of that racist overtone stuff that everybody like, this is the alt-right really trying to get their hooks into games.
Are you serious? Like
Well, you know how because the alt-right hates, Wolfenstein and stuff like that. But I think that they would see this as a champion of, this is the perfect utopia. Whereas the people at
this game was
2K
just
International,
re-released like 2 years ago.
I'm saying that it wouldn't be able to be made. It wouldn't be greenlit today. It has a history now behind it, so you can't not just take it away because it's such a beloved game. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of stuff in it that has racial purity and
But
racial cleansing. And I understand that you're playing from the underside of it, and that there's
you're fighting against
You're fighting against it, but still, I just don't see it being.
I can see where you're coming from.
But all that to say, I enjoy that it has those stories and that kind of glaring look at some of these hard to hit issues.
Yeah.
Even though that's not even the 10th of the game, as far as like the kind of deep-seated philosophical ideals behind it, that's just a little scratch on the surface as far as I'm concerned for the depth of it.
If we've learned anything so far from this episode is that there's always a surface game and then there's something much deeper behind everything that they're doing.
Yeah, you got, especially with Columbia, there's that beautiful clean sheen of it. It's this utopia, but then you got the nasty underbelly of it.
Oh, and it's more than just like a nasty. It's
like
horrible.
The evil magic that's going on.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that. But I totally understand where you're coming from, though, because it is cringy to, especially like that opening scene, like after you've been
taken up in the sky thingy.
Yeah, so like
that part makes
me,
that brings a tear to my eye every time I even think of it.
Well, it's so beautiful. Like
so when you break through the clouds and it's silent, and then the do do do, like it melts my ugly heart of stone.
And so, but really we should start from the true starting point, and that's going up into
the lighthouse.
The lighthouse. On that boat with the couple.
The Lutesses.
that
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Are you going to just sit there?
As compared to what? Standing?
Not standing. Rowing.
Rowing? I haven't planned on it.
So you expect me to shoulder
What's
the
this?
burden?
No. But I do expect you to do all the rowing.
And why is that?
Coming here was your idea.
My idea.
I've made it very clear that I don't believe in the exercise.
The rowing.
No. Imagine that's wonderful exercise.
Then what?
The entire thought experiment.
Excuse me. How much longer?
One goes into an experiment knowing one could fail.
But one does not undertake an experiment knowing one has failed.
Can we get back to the rowing?
I suggest you do. We're never going to get there.
No, I mean I'd greatly appreciate it if you would assist.
Perhaps you should ask him. I imagine he has a greater interest in getting there than I do.
I suppose he does, but there's no point in asking.
Why not?
Because he doesn't row.
He doesn't row.
No, he doesn't row.
Ah, I see what you mean. We've arrived. Shall we tell him when we'll be returning?
Would that change anything?
It might give him some comfort.
At least that's something we can agree on. Hey! Somebody meeting me here?
I'd certainly hope so.
It does seem like a dreadful place to be stranded.
you don't even realize.
You don't know that yet. They're just bickering.
Yeah. And they're talking about something that completely comes full circle after you beat the game and you start to replay. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, your listen's like, they're just talking about this right now out in the open?
Yeah. So, I mean,
Because they already know who you are.
yeah, the game is peppering the ideas to you over time. And it's once you beat it, everything comes full circle. Like, if you start over, everything's going to fucking punch you in the face. Like, super hard. Which I did. I played this game multiple times over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. But just like that whole sequence of going up the lighthouse, I think like you find a pistol, but you don't find any ammo for it.
I think
And
so.
then you find the dead body with like the bag over the head or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's like, you know, like all the conspiracy stuff on the walls. So, but then you get launched into the sky and
And then it goes from that kind of dark and dingy, because isn't it nighttime or
it's
stormy? And then you go up and you shoot up into the clouds, and everything is just absolutely gorgeous, pristine, serene.
Beautiful.
And I believe the game opens with you getting baptized.
Yep, but you do have the choice to either be baptized or not be baptized.
Really?
I do believe so, if I remember correctly. I think
'Cause
you
I
can choose
thought
not to.
They won't let you in if you don't.
Yeah, you have to be baptized. And it's kind of like they hold you under.
So, anyways, you end up getting baptized, and then you see that couple on the stage, and they're like, "Yeah, here's a tomato. You gonna throw it or you not?"
No, it was a baseball.
Baseball with like,
Oh, it's a baseball.
76 on it, the number.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that much detail. Apparently,
And they had a bunch of signs like they had the fist with the chain on it, and like something. Do you know the snake? And so they had warnings about this person with the chains on their wrists.
really,
And then when you go to throw the ball, that's why they stop you, because they see it.
Because you're going to throw it at the... Well, if you choose... I don't even know if you get the chance to... Because I never threw it at the couple, so I always tried to throw it at the guy who's like, well, are you going to throw it?
I'd played it multiple ways. I'm like, well, what happens if you throw it? But then at one point, you lift it up and look at the number, and then they see your wrist, and they grab you.
So it doesn't even let you throw it.
that totally
No.
just blew my fucking mind. I never
Yeah,
realized
and then-
that you have the chain tattoo in that game
Yep.
and in Bioshock 1.
Well, because
Yeah.
I think Jack...
Jack
Comstock
is
and
Booker
Booker
DeWitt.
DeWitt are all the same person.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
that's where the multiverse kind of comes into play.
And then
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne.
the main bad guy, at least, I don't know about two, but I know Andrew Ryan and Comstock are the same person.
But how's that? Because Booker DeWitt is also Comstock, isn't he?
Well, I don't know how that would tie in.
multiple universes, multiple
outcomes. Yeah,
which we'll get into.
Yeah,
because this game heavily relies on the
You having no clue what's
multiverse
going
theory.
on.
yeah.
So, but anyway, then you get into normal gunplay. I think this game really pushed the gunplay into of a more modern
Cover and shoot.
Yeah.
And
I will say
that
that-
made a lot of people upset because
I liked it a lot. I thought the gun play was a lot of fun in this one. The thing I really loved about it is that you could never really run out of ammo because Elizabeth was like, "Hey, I found something."
Yeah.
Throws you a gun. Hey,
Yeah.
I found some money. Here's some money.
That
I
was
was like,
nice.
"Great."
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I enjoyed it. It just was, instead of having this really hardcore slog where I'm like, well, I can't shoot this person because I have nothing.
Yeah.
It made the story a lot more fluid, where you didn't have to really worry about that. I know some people probably didn't like that, but
Could you still upgrade weapons?
oh yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember that.
Wait, no. You could only upgrade your health and your quote unquote mana
or
bar.
mod weapons like you did in 1 and 2? Mm-mm. Oh, really?
Nope.
See, I think I was disappointed with the gunplay just because they're guns. But in 1 and 2, it was kind of cool stylized, like the rivet cannon or whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought those weapons were a little bit more.
My issue with it
Fleshed
is
out.
they put so much work into that they really cut back on what plasmids were.
see, I don't think so because they had a lot of plasmids.
They had a lot of
different ones, and
plasmids, but
I
a
thought
lot
they
of them
pretty
were
good.
useless. Like, how many times are you going to use the crow one? Not very often.
All the time.
Or not the crow one, but there were plenty that I got, and then they just stayed on the shelf. Never fucking used them once.
And I did like, no matter if it was number 1, I'm assuming number 2, and because I can't like AJ, I kind of just blacked that one out. And number 3, to where you took the plasmids and then had some kind of reaction with it, and I always thought that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed those little cutscenes.
Oh yeah, so in one, your arm
Catch on
would catch fire, and then
Yep.
be able to snap out some
Oh, yeah.
fire.
Or the insect trap one. That one always skeeved me out.
Really?
Yeah, when you just hear the buzzing sound, they're crawling out of your hand.
So back to
Ugh.
Under the Sea.
Hated that.
When Elizabeth has her cigarette, she asks for a light, and you just snap your
Snap
finger,
it.
and you have a flame coming out of your thumb. It's pretty cool.
I do that every now and then, hoping. Maybe.
I thought you
maybe
meant
there was
like
a-
it really happens. Like, what?
No, I snap hoping fire comes out. Like maybe I got hit by a gamma ray burst in my sleep and I have powers now.
A what burst?
Gamma ray?
Thank you.
What did I say?
Gamma.
Gamma?
I heard Gamma.
I heard gamer ray. like
Gamer ray? Like video
gamer
game man came and
Yeah.
huzzah! No, gamma. Like Bruce Banner.
But anyway,
The plasmids were
because I think like the
They're
first one you
cool.
get is the
Inferno.
is the Inferno one. And instead of the slideshows like you used to get with the first game, which I love those silly little slideshows where it'd be like, you would have like hallucinations only of like, I think with Inferno, like you saw like a burning lady or something, but she was like super sexualized.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because that was the demon. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, like
and it also gave you pictures of what it did too. That were stylized like with early 1910s demon looking things too.
Yep.
no, okay.
But yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember mainly just like the hallucination part
Yeah,
of whenever you would get one.
See, I really like that.
it was great.
But pretty much from that point on, you're just a man on the run. And you're barely even like touching the surface of that game. Like, so I think one of the most beautiful things is like you run away and you get away. And a blimp comes up and it's like the 1910. And there's like
The Barbershop Quartet.
the Barbershop Quartet singing God Only Knows by Beach Boys.
I like that version better than the original.
Here's the thing about this game. I think I love all of the music that they did better in that style than like the new or like
in the actual style that it was.
Yeah. So like Tainted Love, the version that's in the game is so fucking good.
Yep.
I Put a Spell on You is so fucking good.
I know the original of I Put a Spell on You is pretty damn good too.
Yeah, it is. I will admit. Yeah,
but it's cool. Just
the
to
one
hear
part
it.
of the game that really kind of fell flat with me, and that I just don't really remember being invested in, is when you were trying to get what's her name,
Elizabeth.
No, whoever the resistance lady was.
Oh yeah.
And you're trying to get all the slaves to uprise and revolt, and you need to do stuff to get her to.
Oh, what was their name?
I can't remember.
We'll remember it at some point in time.
But I do remember that whole section of the game.
I mean, I do,
Where it's
but I
like
felt
kind
it
of
was
like
just
in the quote unquote slums.
Yeah, and it was towards the back half of the game.
Yeah.
And I just remember kind of slogging through it, going, "All right, come on, let's just," because I mean the game is quite long.
It's long for Bioshock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
And I just
definitely.
remember kind of, all right, let's keep it going. I don't really feel like doing these stupid quests to try and get you to like me. Can't we just both hate Comstock and go kill them together?
Right.
But
I mean, but you never trust a crack.
That's true. White Devil.
White Devil.
the one person I fell in love with, of course, was Elizabeth, just because she was such, from the very first time that you met her, and just the purity of who and what she was. I loved everything about her. I loved,
Most definitely.
like when she was at the beach and just dancing. It just, I don't know, it just was a surreal experience inside a game to where I wasn't even really playing it. I just was like Booker DeWitt, just standing there watching this girl experiencing life for the first time.
Most
And
definitely.
it was, I mean, just talking about it now just sends chills down my back of just how amazing this game is to be able to take you out of sitting on your couch with a stupid controller and actually into another world.
How did they have a beach?
How are they flying in the sky?
So
Is that really-
So so I do know like magic. They had
That's it.
they had different crafts that were different pieces, and they could take off and be independent, or they could
Kinda latch
snap
on.
together.
Oh, yeah, because they had the bridges that would lock together.
Because I remember,
Yeah.
didn't he fall? Because you both fell or something like that, and then you wound up on the beach somehow.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you fell in the water or if you kind of hit a skyhook or something, but
So it's like a giant pool, pretty much.
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
It's just a pool with sand.
I was about ready to write an angry Twitter post.
Well, I mean,
You're getting
you know,
140 characters.
if you get more than 140
You do?
now.
Oh, yeah.
You get the circle now. That's your character count, is this circle that fills up.
That's wondering why I was seeing so many long Twitter posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They increase because they're like, we don't need to be 140 characters anymore.
Now people can share more of their opinions on the internet.
Hooray!
Yeah.
God
That's what
damn
we
it.
need.
Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah.
Give Donald Trump more words. Anyway, moving.
So, when you first rescue her, and she has that portal to France open, and you look at the billboard, and in French it says, "The Revenge of the Jedi." So it's a completely different reality, because
cool.
that's what Return of the Jedi was supposed to be called, was Revenge of the Jedi. And you hear Everybody Wants to Rule the World playing in the background.
Yep.
And I mean, like, everything about that part of the game is like, will always be like frozen in my head because it was just so amazing.
Like what?
And I
is
loved it
going
because it was
on
in
here?
black and white,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was
I like how they incorporated her ability to use the tears to jump through realities.
Most definitely.
Like when they got to, they just jumped in. It's like, oh, what's different here? It's like, oh, the rebels you were trying to help are now evil and against you. It's like, oh, fuck. Just how you jump through here. It's like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we have to do it. I thought that was great. It was I need to fucking play this game again.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pop in that second disc and install it on my PS4, maybe try to play some of it this weekend.
You play Infinite, I'll play 2.
All right. Sounds good.
I'll take the burden, I guess. Dicks.
You take the bird and I'll take the bird.
Oh.
The songbird, which, whoa.
Oh.
Now, how bad did you feel when you jumped into Rapture and had to kill it?
I don't think I felt bad.
I kind of felt bad because, I mean, it was sitting there banging and you saw it being crushed to smithereens by the pressure of the sea. And I felt bad at that point in time because, I mean, all it's doing is just trying to protect Elizabeth.
I understand, but like,
even though it was
it's a
protecting her
very,
from
very
everything.
totalitarian
Yeah.
protection.
But, I mean, it was her one and only friend. I mean, she...
Yeah.
Even though it's a robot, basically, but still is a robot with feelings-ish.
I really...
Always a
angry
bad
feelings.
idea.
I
Always a bad
really
idea.
wish I had bought the special edition of that game so I could have gotten the Songbird and the soundtrack. I'm really upset that I never pulled the trigger on that. Really upset I never pulled the trigger on buying a Skyhook either.
Yeah, eBay.
Now they're like 10 times as much as they were. Fuck that. I ain't paying those kind of prices. Though I do love that Irrational Games, in the end, trying to like pull money in before they got dissipated.
Shit canned.
They were releasing like the plasmid bottles,
Yes. Oh my god.
but they were like $250 each.
They're
but
so
each one was
good.
like handcrafted, and they looked
Replica.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I would have. Look, if I had bottomless pockets, I would have bought all that shit.
Oh yeah. I would need a second house for all the stupid shit I'd buy from nostalgia-driven purchases.
Oh,
This is my room of regrets.
This guy's selling 1,000 copies of Street Shark Season 1. Fuck yeah.
I have a closet in a bedroom full of stuff in boxes that I used to display proudly on shelves.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a good shelf.
It was a good shelf. But anyway, so there are a lot of the racial undertones in this game that are very, very heavy in this game. As I stated earlier, like the Ku Klux Klan, pretty much, except for they carry coffins on their back and they can throw crows and they're dressed in all black instead of all white.
The Indian stuff, or the Native Americans.
Yeah, when they go through the Wounded Knee and you go through the museum, basically where it kind of whitewashes the history and
Yeah,
makes it all about that we're the top and all these people were wrong and
the super racist caricatures of all these races.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
They had one of
they had the black
Chinese people. Was it the Chinese?
Oh,
yeah, American
Okay.
Indian. It was
because
tick a box and it was probably checked in that game.
Yeah, because we used the Chinese to build
Railroads.
our railroad system, which would have been before 1910. So, and we definitely had a deep-seated issue with them for some damn reason. I don't know why.
Because they weren't white.
That
And
color.
this game is about the other. I mean, and this whole entire series is always about the other.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like
whether
we're
the other
pointing
is
out.
another race or the other is the government, the other. I mean, it's whatever.
Well, definitely with this game,
There's
it's-
no way
it's-
we're the enemy. We're the good guys. That's like that's what the bad guys are saying.
Yeah.
Like Comstock and Ryan's like, no. I'm the one you want to follow. I have the good ideas.
So, like, yeah, in Bioshock 1, it's definitely against the government, all about the free trade. You are your own god, your own master.
Pretty much it's
It's
anarchy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's anarchy because, and I mean, of the two, that if I had to have a choice, I would much rather live under a Andrew Ryan rule of where man is the totalitarian or the total sum of the ideals, that everything is about me, everything. Because if I had to choose, I would not choose, hey, white people are awesome, and everything
I'm
has to be
pretty
under this
sure-
puritanical rule. Whereas Andrew Ryan's was like, hey, whatever, laissez-faire, do whatever you want to, knock yourself out.
I'm pretty sure you can guess which one I would live in.
Bioshock 1.
Yeah, because, I'm such a devout Christian and everything.
AJ would be
And-
on that
and-
stage getting baseballs pelted at him.
Yeah, I would. They would have done thrown
This
me
guy
off.
doesn't believe in anything. Boo this man.
He doesn't
He's a
like...
nihilist. Throw him off the side.
Who cares?
Oh, well. No, I'm falling, but I don't believe in the
My lifestyle determines my death style. Rising tide.
to rise up from the other side. Oh man!
And I will say, I did love when you jumped through the tear and went back to Rapture. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Oh
that,
yeah,
that was amazing.
I was
my
blown
jaw
away.
Dropped. I'm like,
And you know, it's really cool because supposedly, now I'm pretty sure it's been debunked,
I know where you're going.
but you can hear the songbird in Bioshock 1.
Mhm.
You can hear its death knell. But I think it got disproven where it's just like, no, it's just a loud noise of part of Rapture
I choose to believe.
compressing and... Oh, dude, me too. I think, you know, if they would have said, yeah, that was purposeful, then it gives the idea that they had this, like, overarching idea of connecting these games into a far deeper idea than you ever had. But, yeah, when you return to Rapture, I was like, holy shit, let's fucking rock.
I remember when you had to leave. I'm like, do we have to?
I don't want to go.
Yeah.
We could
I
go
wanna
over here. You got a fontaine. Futuristics. Come on.
Let's roll. Let's rock. Come on. You've seen enough of the sky. Let's see the ocean. Somewhere beyond the sea. Anyway, Bioshock Infinite.
Mm-hmm. The ending's a letdown. Not the ending. The last boss fight with the songbird.
Yeah.
Where you're just wave after wave shooting them.
Yeah.
Knocking them off with the.
I think it's
wait
more
a minute,
that
wait a minute.
The water plasmid.
If we're gonna talk about disappointments, I would love to chime in with
Bioshock 2.
with my Bioshock Infinite disappointments. A lot of this game really had me immersed and pulled in, but god damn it, when you got to like a spot where you're sitting there fucking running around on a skyhook in an infinite circle, and you just have to keep shooting people and shooting people and shooting people, and then you would die, and then you have to start it over again.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Especially when there was a handyman chasing you.
That's you just kept on going around and around.
It's like, shoot him in the heart. I'm like, I can't get a clear shot at his stupid heart, you dumb game.
Yeah.
God.
Now, like, here's the thing. Like, I got maybe like a quarter of the way through this game on 1912 difficulty or whatever it was.
1999.
Or, yeah,
Oh,
1999.
God. It's a brutal slog.
What a... exactly what he just said. It is a brutal fucking slog.
Prepare to die.
I had to give up. I couldn't fucking do it anymore. It's like your realism mode over in Black Ops 3. It
Not
was
fun at all.
At first, like, I was like, oh, this is a healthy challenge, you know? And then pretty soon, like, I'm like, kind of like...
This is an unhealthy challenge.
I'm gripping my controller really hard, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. And then, like, I'm starting to, like, twist my controller and trying to break it in half. And I'm like, oh, I really fucking hate this shit right now. Oh, my fucking... I'm gonna fucking break it. No more of that game mode for me.
Nope, back to normal.
Let's go. Let's drop this bitch to easy. Oh my god, I'm so powerful.
That's all. When I go back and play 2, I'm just gonna put on easy.
Oh yeah,
Heck
most definitely.
Heck it. That's what I say.
Yeah, kick it in the pants. That's all you got to do.
And I would say the songbird ending or songbird fight is just more of the Atlas fight, where it's just normal
video gamey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate that. Now that's the one that takes place on the flying fortress, and you have like the 50,000 George Washingtons coming after you.
I forgot
with the
those
fucking
dicks.
chain guns, and then you got like all that craziness going on. Jesus Christ! What a fucking terrible way to what a terrible way to end out a game with your gameplay. I was really upset.
I mean, I don't know if I was really upset. I was trying to get through it just to get to the end of the game, and then the end of the game made me happy again. So
the end of the game,
maybe not happy, but the end of the game was satisfying.
Yeah,
it does have a very satisfying, complete finale. I would have to say, but getting there after that shit. Oh, and by the way, this game does the one thing I fucking hate. Put a fucking jump scare in your fucking game. I'm gonna punch you in your fucking throat.
What jump scare?
So it's that part where there's like just like the all white single eye things that are looking around, and they're the security things that you have to sneak past. And you're sitting there at like a terminal, and then you're doing a bunch of stuff, and then like you turn
like
around
the
and there's
heads. Yeah.
and there's one just like right fucking there.
Yep.
Oh my god, I wanted to throw my fucking controller through my
I
TV.
forgot that was in the game. I thought that was Dishonored.
No, that is a.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
So I'm not looking forward to having that happen to me. But
At least you
like I
know.
know it happens, but I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna jump and go, oh fuck.
It's like me watching Signs with the Mexican or whatever birthday party when the alien walks across. I know it's gonna happen, but every time
It just scares you.
I shit my pants and scream.
I laugh because he goes and does the Zoolander look down the alley and then walks away.
He gives it the blue steel.
Oh no, because then the alien knows that you're there and he acknowledges you exist, and shit's fucked when that happens.
It already acknowledges that you exist when it looks at your camera, dude.
I know, and I hate that.
It's not actually looking at the camera, Brady. It's looking at you.
They're
You know what's
always
really
looking
funny
at us.
is I'm pretty sure a friend of ours, Ryan, he sent Brady a sound message, and it was that part of the movie.
Yeah.
He's all like, "Here you go, buddy."
He's just torturing me.
That's why you never let your friends know your greatest fear.
Well, my greatest fear is now the shadow government. Not aliens.
Are we talking Illuminati here?
Way, way, way beyond Illuminati.
No longer afraid of aliens, now afraid of shadow government.
Like Illuminati is just like
Fear
a
with-
pimple on the face of the shadow government.
Fear of aliens.
Let's get into the ending here.
Yep. Sorry, you can cut
let's
all that.
definitely do that. Friendship ended with that talk.
What?
Friendship beginning with end of game talk.
What?
Anyway, still, that has to be my main grievances with this game is that there are parts of this game that are way too arcadey and that really break the immersion, and then there are parts of this game that are just bullshitty, and then there's that single jump scare.
Yep.
Beyond that, we got a really good fucking game, guys. What do you think? Let's fucking ship it and rip it, boys.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude.
So let's jump into this insane ending. So I can't quite remember, but do you visit your house like in multiple parts of the game? Because like
I think you visit your office.
Yeah.
your office, yeah, is that like a between loading zone?
Yeah, kind of.
I sort of remember it, but it like looks really like sepia toned.
Yep.
And just
Like a flashback.
yeah,
Would
and
be.
Every time you try to go into the room with the crib, it would pull you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're peppering this idea that it had something to do with a kid. And you're like, okay, well, who's the kid? But who was dog? You know? God damn it. I know. You know, and before we get into the insanity of the ending, just like the other things that they're peppering throughout the game with the twins,
Yep.
where they're like, oh, I knew he would do that. Oh, he did that last time.
Yeah.
Or
They
where
have
they
the-
flip the coin
And they have the chalkboard with the
with tally marks.
Yep.
And they're like, different outcome than I thought.
And when your first playthrough, you're just like, that's weird.
Yep.
Crazy people, and think nothing of it.
The only thing it changes is I believe it changes the brooch on Elizabeth's.
Necklace?
Yeah.
From a bird or a cage.
Yep.
I chose the bird.
Yep. Because that makes her free.
Because free bird. Hell yeah, dude.
Free. And then, so you go through that humongous bullshit fight, and then you get into like the innards of the ship. Comstock is there, and he's just old, decrepit, and looks feeble and weak, and everything gets kind of for me at this point, because everything kind of culminates together for me. So if somebody else wants to...
Dude, I have no recollection.
Okay.
Just wing it.
So I guess it's just me that at least memorizes a lot of this stuff, I think. So anyway, you go into the office, you have the option to shoot him, and then he goes, well, you need to know this, you know, and then you get like all these huge flashbacks about who he is, who you are, and I think there's multiple endings.
At what point do you see them, like, attack New York? Or that city where they're bombing it?
That's one of the different endings.
Is it? Okay, that's the one I got.
So there are the multiple endings of this game. There's that ending. There's the ending where you kill yourself in the...
That's the one I got.
Where you pretty
drown
much
yourself by all
drown
the
yourself.
Well, yeah, I got that one too. I think I might be thinking of a flashback forward in the game that happened prior to the ending.
Oh, it might have been just a tear in the...
Yeah,
one of the
it was.
tears that she opens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't know. For some reason, I remember that with like CGI clarity, though.
Yeah, me too.
Which is weird. But you confront him, and he tells you everything, and then you have like the different options of things you can do. Where pretty much you can drown him. I think you could shoot him, or something. I honestly don't remember, so don't take this shit for granted. I can tell you though about what it all means and how it all interconnects. But anyway, you find out that Elizabeth was your daughter all along. You went back in time to kidnap your own kid, and because you knew that she had the ability to open portals, and that's the reason why she has the metal thing on her pinky, because her finger got caught behind and the portal closed on it. So you were still you at that point, but you changed your identity to Comstock, and you used her abilities to make your reality yours. Because without her abilities, you're not able to open up portals. You're not able to learn about plasmids. You learn about plasmids because of Rapture. You steal that idea from Rapture. With the ideas of the floating city, you steal that from future scientists that have already perfected that. You go back and you proliferate music from the future and bring it back to your time, and you give it to the people, and you're like, here, but remake it to your own. So there's all these things that you end up doing that make you Comstock, and you want this perfect reality, this perfect world where everything is perfect and you don't have to worry about the evils of the world. What you didn't anticipate is you're going to come back and try to get your daughter back.
So how does Booker DeWitt make it into that reality?
So what happens
I don't remember that.
Is no matter what, that's your reality. You exist in both. So you exist in the same one. You're two people of the same reality, just at different times of...
Like a younger one versus an older.
Yeah. So you used to be Booker DeWitt, and then something terrible happened to you, and it turned you into Comstock.
Because it happens at the Wounded Knee, where there's where you accept the baptism at the battlefield or you don't.
Yep.
And then so that's where Booker DeWitt is, and that's where Comstock comes from. And then I guess that is how we're able to have Jack and Andrew Ryan.
Yeah.
Because they're one and the same person.
So I guess maybe I should have discussed this earlier then, when we were like, well, how can you have Jack and Andrew Ryan? But yeah, so what ends up happening is you use your own daughter to create your world, and then that world is forever stuck in this circle, and that's why the twins are the only people that remember every iteration of the board.
Well, because aren't the twins the same person, just one is a female and one's a male? I thought that's how that
Yep.
worked, that they're
It is.
the same person, but they're from different realities.
Yep.
Or different universes. Or
So what happens is I believe in the ending is the way to end it is you have to kill you and Comstock.
So you kill Comstock and then you drown yourself, or have Elizabeth drown you.
And the 3 Elizabeths drown you. From
Even
the
though there's-
different realities.
Well, but there's 3 that drowned you, but there's like multiple
Oh,
there.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
tons.
Infinite number of
There's
Elizabeths.
always a lighthouse.
So, and then that's where the lighthouse theory comes from. I don't remember what part of the game where they show that. I'm pretty sure it's deep in the ending.
Yeah, it's close to the very end. Because you make your way through the lighthouse and you see your mirror image, and then the mirror image.
That's when they're
Where it's-
explaining the big aha moment.
So the big aha moment of this game is that all of these games take place in the same world but different realities at different timelines. So Rapture is like an Art Deco 1940s,
And so that's why there's always like Comstock. There's always going to be an Andrew Ryan
there
type
will
figure.
always be a Comstock. There will always be an Andrew Ryan. There will always be a character in every single world that gets created
To stop them.
Yeah. So no matter what happens, there will always be a you, and there will always be the antithesis of you, which is still you. So the game pretty much heavily relies on the idea of the duality of man and the inner fight between what's right and what's wrong and how you make a decision for your life.
Yeah.
Or if that decision even exists with freedom of choice
Or the lack thereof.
or the lack thereof. It's a really, really deep and complex way. But that's pretty much how the game wraps itself in, is that no matter what you do, there will always be a branch where a new lighthouse is formed and shit goes through again.
The cycle starts over.
Yep. Did
Spices. Yeah, I think so. Because every time I
That's
try
very
to,
good, yeah.
every time I try and walk myself through it, I always end up entangling myself in somewhere, and then I
that
get.
quantum entanglement, though.
But yeah, that once that first hit, trying to slog through it. I mean, right when you finish the game is just, that is the one of the biggest bombshells. Just like the would you
Would you kindly?
but in a totally different and more weighty way of just
Earth shattering.
It is just crazy.
You know, I think that first game would have been a lot more funny if it was a would you rather. Would you rather fuck the goat or rather have people think that you fucked the goat, but you didn't? Always fuck the goat.
Brady Cooker, 2016.
Then you don't have shame of people thinking you did, but you didn't. Eventually, you're just going to have to be like, yeah, I did. Well, you might as well do it too.
He's got a point.
Come on, people. It's all hypothetical.
Get on the Cooker train. Or get on the Cooker train.
I'll run a train on that goat, son.
Run a train on that goat. I run a train on that goat. Meh.
But I just remember trying to get through that and just thinking and looking up tons of different forums because I played it right when it came out and beat it. And that was one of the best times because that is to me some of the most fun is to, when they don't give you all the answers and to try and slog through those deeper philosophical ideals by yourself or with other people and
make sense of it.
And trying to make sense of it all. And, I mean, it's fun because, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. There's not going to... But the overarching ideas are just a lot of fun to try and get through. And I just enjoy those games that make you think beyond when you're playing them about the deeper meanings of whatever.
Most definitely. And I mean, if it weren't for Brady pointing out the that you still have chains on your wrist in this game, I probably wouldn't have been able to explain that as well as I did. Because after he said that, like, it kind of just like unlocked everything. I was like, oh, I fully get it now. Like before, like I thought I got it. Now I really got it. You know.
So pretty much what you're saying is I could have played Bioshock 1 and played 2 and Infinite because it's all the same game.
No, Bioshock 1 and 3
I feel
are.
gypped.
Yeah, 1 and 3 are.
1
2
and 3.
is its standalone.
Yeah.
And
Man,
I think that's why 2...
those guys made me pay for the same game twice. Shit. Fuck
Most
that.
definitely.
That's the real. crux of the
That's
matter.
the real motherfucker of it.
Hell
Is you
yeah.
bought the same game twice. And then you went and bought it
Again.
again. Remastered.
I did. Twice.
Same.
Man.
Hashtag same. Speaking of remasters, I know this is off topic. Everybody keeps asking me why I want to play the Dark Souls remaster. And it's because I didn't get to play Dark Souls 1 and when it had a huge player base.
Well, who cares? It's like, why do you play any remaster? Because you love the game and you just want to see with updated graphics and better
Yeah.
AI
For me,
or better
it's because
stuff.
I want that giant, lively group of people playing.
Uh-huh.
I think that the invasions will be fun. Everything's going to be super fun. I can't fucking wait. But that. Maybe we'll talk about the Souls series
Your next big podcast
for our
2
next
hours.
really big 2-hour Macho Man, which I think will rely only on me talking. Sadly, which I'm really
Hey,
sure
I
that
can talk about Scholars of the First Sin.
Yeah, that's right. You probably got Scholars down more than I do because fuck Dark Souls 2.
Well, as long as we talk about how I like to be over encumbered and not have light armor, so I can't roll.
Hardcore fat rolling.
We're
Yeah.
calling it thick rolling now with 2 C's. Got that thick roll.
And before we do sign off, I would like to say I just watched John Wick 2, or
Ooh.
John Wick Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I think I still like John Wick 1 better just because it was the first one.
Yeah.
But John Wick 2 keeps it rolling. I have to look at the body count, but it is absolutely, the gun fu in it is just as good as it was in number 2
Awesome.
or number 1.
I can't
And
wait.
just so good. So good.
Well, I'm gonna.
You need to watch John Wick 1.
I've never watched any of them because I was
fun.
like,
It's
why the
John Wick
fuck-
2 is on your HBO. That's how I watched it.
Oh, I was like, why do I want to watch a movie about a guy who like gets his dog killed?
It's Keanu Reeves. Okay, here's the whole entire story. John Wick, because everybody's like, oh, this is the dumbest thing. I say it is the greatest love story ever told.
It is
Because he gets out of being a assassin to be with his then now deceased wife. His wife, knowing that she's dying, is going to give him a dog so that he will have some companionship when she is gone,
Yes.
to help him through the hard time. He has 2 things that he loves in life. 3. His wife, who's now dead, the dog that his wife gave him, and his car.
Boss 392
And
That's back.
the
Mustang.
son of one of the Russian mobsters kills his dog and takes his car. So now he has lost everything that he holds dear in his life.
Yeah, because they're at a gas and he's like, "How much?" He's like, "It's not for sale." He's like, "Everything's for sale." It's like, "Not this." And then he starts bad mouthing him in Russian, and John Wick speaks back to him in Russian. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you too, bro." I speak the language. And then they follow him home.
And then he kills everybody and anything that had anything tangentially to do with taking his car.
Yeah, and he's like, "You
killing his
killed
dog."
my fucking dog." Oh, that's great. He's like, "Not only did you steal the man's car and destroy it, but you killed his dog. This
then-
is your problem, son."
And then this is what the
Oh,
audio clip I
so
put, I
good.
think 2 episodes ago, where it's that back and forth between the father gangster and the son who killed the dog and took the
Yep.
car. And he's like, it's not what you did, it's who you did it to.
Yeah.
And then it's so good. And number 2, it starts out that you're now going after, and I can't think of what his name is, but he's the Russian guy in Armageddon, and the guy who did like all the commercials for Black Ops, the original, when he's like, he's the person who's going to take over your life responsibility so you can play Black Ops, which I thought was hilarious. Great
Yeah.
commercials. Where it's like, you can do it, push, because he's like being the dad who's helping his wife push the baby out while his dad, the actual dad's like playing Black Ops.
Black Ops.
But so he's the actual crime lord, and you're getting your car back from him, and then because you just see in number 2 how much he is single-mindedly focused on his world and keeping it the way that he wants it and the way that he remembers it, being the good times. And then it just goes on from there because and the thing I love about it is the whole entire kind of subculture of the assassin cult, and how they have the Continental, they have it in like Europe, and it shows a little bit more like he has a blood debt because it goes back to number 1,
blood debts,
in that they have this cool little token basically, and it pops open, and then there's a thumbprint from John Wick, that he gave to somebody, which basically says that anything that I ask of you, you have to do because I'm helping you do this other thing. And so the guy who has his blood debt calls it in because in number 1, the thing that whatever you did to get out of the game was done because this guy helped you because you weren't able to have escaped or to have been able to pull it off. And so he calls in the debt, and that's what this whole entire thing is. And so John Wick, because
he has to go back into it.
So he has to go back into it, and then he's like, "Get somebody else. I'm out." And then he finally acquiesces to it and does it. And then once the blood debt is done, there's even more deep richness of the assassin cult to where there's like 12 seats of this council that kind of control all the crime in the world, and there's like the Asians and the Germans and the whoever, English and American seats at the table. Sounds amazing. And then he just basically goes off on a tear. And the thing I love is that we have Lawrence Fishburne in this movie, so we get Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne back together again, Morpheus and Neo. And it is just the most fun movie that has a great love story underneath it.
Morpheus?
That's right.
Kick-ass gunplay.
It is absolutely... I love it.
How long is it?
The second one is decently long. I think 142 minutes, something like that. But it is awesome. You have time to watch it, Brady.
I think I might watch it tonight.
Because you will absolutely love it.
I love Keanu Reeves.
I do love Keanu Reeves. That's going to be one of our podcasts about just talking about
69,
all of our...
dude.
I do like Keanu Reeves.
Huh?
I do like...
Oh, I was going to say, how do you not like Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves is awesome.
Yeah.
I loved him ever since I saw him in Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
I think that was the first movie I seen him in when I was a kid.
Yep, I think that was his first major movie.
He did a bunch of commercials when he was young too.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. It just doesn't sound like my type of movie.
It doesn't sound like it, but once you watch it and you actually you see all the kind of fluidity of all the action, it is. It's
big fun, happy action movie.
It's basically Taken, where you want to punch people in the throat, but this one you'll just want to shoot somebody in the chest once and pop them in the head, and just have this fluid motion because he has some of the most amazing. Because there's a time where he's like checking his gun and he pops it out of his right hand, cocks the chamber back with his left hand while it's not in his right hand to check and see, and then pops it back into his right hand, or like he tactically reloads the shotgun where he has it in the tactical position, but he's out of ammo, so he flips his hand and pops a shell in, and then pops it back. Oh, it's just so good.
It's really cool.
It is amazing. You will want to pee yourself at how amazing the gunplay is in this movie.
I've never seen Taken either.
How have you not seen Taken?
Because I didn't want to. It doesn't look like my type of movie.
Because that movie will make you want to punch people in the throat. This one will make you want to go on a murderous rampage as an amazing assassin.
These are not things I want to do.
Against bad people.
Against bad people.
Bankers.
Yeah.
I'm a banker.
Not like the bankers.
You work for the bankers.
Yeah. No, my technical job position is banker.
Well, then look out. John Wick is coming for you.
I'm just a customer service representative.
Put up your dukes, AJ.
You put up your dukes. Put them in your butt.
My dukes are up, sir.
I think we should do one whole episode where Brady just talks in the vaudeville.
And how?
All right, well, this has gone on for a ridiculously long period of time.
No, I think it was... I feel like...
It was a good look at the series.
Oh, we didn't even say... well, I already said. Bioshock Infinite was the best one.
I'm going to go with number 1.
Personal favorites, 2 still.
So there you go. All of us...
like a different one.
Hey.
So
we're each our own separate lighthouse.
Aw, that's kind of fun.
It's kind of cute. The way you said that is like reminded me of Ben Kissel.
I know. I've been trying to say that more often.
But anyway, I feel like I should have been more detailed with Bioshock 2. I do apologize that I dropped the ball on that.
Well, I think it's just, for me, it was because it wasn't in, after playing all of them, and 1 and 3 being so hand-in-hand with overarching storyline, that number 2 just kind of fell to the wayside for me, in that it was its own game.
That happens to a lot of trilogies.
That happened in its universe, but it wasn't really connected as much as 1 and 2 were.
You know what's sad, though, is that a lot of times,
1 and 3.
Yeah. What happens is that the second one's usually the best one. Like, that's what happened in Silent Hill. Everybody considers Silent Hill 2 to be like...
I thought we were going to say Star Trek or Star Wars.
The creme de la creme of video games, or survival horror games, when 1 and 3 are the ones that are connected to each other. Or Star Wars. The second one's the best one.
Wrong.
David, your opinion is wrong, and you should...
Your opinion is wrong, and your opinion is bad, and you should feel bad. Empire's the best. It was original.
Wrong.
Attack of the Clones is not. But here we go.
None of those movies are
unfortunate good. This is a hot take. Last Jedi is better than Force Awakens.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm withholding my judgment, but I've heard good things.
It's very good.
I'm just excited to actually see Luke Skywalker. And the annoying thing, I know we keep on getting off, we're like, we're going to end. This is like the acceptance speech that will never end. We're just waiting for somebody to hook
turn
us
off
the
music
to play us out.
Yeah.
Come on, Piano Cat.
But everybody's like, there's so many plot holes, and here's why Luke had to do it. You know what could have been done? That would have solved all the problems that Disney created or potential problems, quote unquote. Even though people have come out with, huge articles saying, well, here's what actually happened. You could have not destroyed the whole entire universe, Disney, and kept the books, and then you wouldn't have had these plot holes, because Luke went to the dark side, then Luke came back.
Yeah, but Force-sensitive droids.
And that Luke shut himself off from the Force because he knew he was going to become a bad person. He was a bad person. He went to the dark side. He joined his father as the supreme bad leader of the Force. And you could have had this great storyline with all the Timothy Zahn books and all the huge entire...
And what AJ just referenced, Skippy the Jedi droid. I think his name was Skippy.
Something.
He's the one that exploded in A New Hope.
Yeah.
When Uncle Owen and Luke were going to get him instead of R2, but he saw the future, and he knew that if they didn't get R2, they wouldn't get the plans or
the help me message.
So he's like, I have to kill myself. It's a sacrifice for the Force.
Gosh dang it, George Lucas.
No, that wasn't George Lucas.
No, that wasn't
the
George
fan
Lucas.
Base.
Jawas are very, very difficult beings. They just want all your money. They sell you scrap, sell you crap, sell you junk.
Go play Bioshock, all of them now.
Yeah.
All 3 at
sell
once.
Your kids, divorce your significant others, kill the dog, make a handbag, play Bioshock.
What are we doing with the handbag? Are we
the dog fur?
I was just getting ready to say, are we making our handbag out of dog?
Yes, you are.
Damn.
Just to play Bioshock.
Okay.
My name is David.
My name is AJ.
Would you kindly call me Brady?
And this has been our big Bioshock special.
Thank you for listening.
If I don't see you tomorrow, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Bon voyage.
What are you talking about?
Jizzed all over the pages of this nice magazine I was nice enough to tell you about. Was it you, Seth?
No.
No?
It was me, Franco. I fucking made jizz in your magazine.
What?
When I fucking jack off long enough, I end up jizzing, dude. I'm assuming the same shit works for you?
Real fucking smart answer. Why don't you fucking aim, huh?
I have a particularly explosive ejaculate. It just goes everywhere. It's like a fucking wild fireman's hose. You're just gonna grab on and pray to God it doesn't get in your eyes or your mouth.
The fuck kind of jerking off is that? What, you never had any brothers? You didn't learn to jizz in a fucking sock or on a fucking tissue?
No, I don't have any brothers. I was raised in a house of women.
I highly doubt they fucking taught you to fucking close your eyes and fucking come wherever you want.
I mean, you're getting all worked up over a fucking porno mag. Who has goddamn porno mags anymore? Welcome to the 21st century, Buck Rogers. You designed a house with fucking iPads in the walls. Yet you're jerking your dick like a goddamn pilgrim.
That's right, man. I like to fucking read.
You think that's the only thing I jerked off in here? I've been dropping loads around this fucking house like a goddamn dump truck.
You don't come on my stuff.
I'll come wherever the fuck I want, James. I'll fucking come in your kitchen. I'll come on your fucking art. I'll come anywhere I want.
I will fucking come right on you. I will come like a fucking madman all over you, McBride.
Ooh, I fucking wish you'd come on me right now. I fucking dare you to come on me. I'm gonna jerk my dick so fucking hard in here.
This? No more, man. All over your fucking face.
All over the fucking place. I'll fucking come anywhere I want. I'll fucking come on these walls. I'll come on the fucking cabinets, on the fucking furniture. I'll come everywhere.
If I see your dick one more time, I'm gonna fucking shoot it off.
You don't have enough bullets, bitch.
No fucking jerking off in my house, McBride.
Fuck this. I'm too thirsty to do this, and the fucking bitter irony is I'm not gonna have my thirst quenched until I finish this. God damn it,
Danny, no, don't walk away. Danny, don't walk away from me.
It's too late, Seth. I've already walked away too much.
No, you haven't. You could still come back and just fucking turn around and come back and help me.